Here in Iran tonight, the pieces are nearly in place for a prisoner swap between the U.S. and Iran. The deal generating controversy tonight after Iran's president suggested to me in an exclusive interview that his country was getting more from the agreement than was first reported. The U.S. now looking to set the record straight. We arrived in Tehran at a critical moment, as consequential as it is controversial. Tonight, the White House moving quickly to frame the details of a prisoner swap that would unlock $6 billion of frozen Iranian funds that the U.S. says would be for Iran's humanitarian use only. After Iran's President Ebrahim Raisi telling me in an exclusive interview that Iran will do whatever it wants with the money.
No, that's not true. The system is set up such that this money, these funds, can only be parceled out for humanitarian purposes.
Tonight, the 5 Americans at the center of the deal, held for years, are expected to be freed at any time. Recently transferred from a prison cell where they had been held on espionage charges. The U.S. says they were unjustly detained. Now they wait to be exchanged for 5 Iranians held in the U.S. on alleged sanctions violations. For Iran, the deal will free up billions that had been blocked by U.S. sanctions. Walking the busy streets of this capital, it doesn't immediately strike you how isolated this country is. But in fact, Iran is the second most sanctioned country in the world. Russia only surpassed it after its invasion of Ukraine. Speaking to President Raisi through a government-provided translator, I asked about the well-being of the soon-to-be-freed Americans. Are they healthy? Are they well?
They are very healthy, and according to our latest information, they are in full health.
I want to ask you about the deal. $6 billion that Iran has, its own money, for humanitarian purposes. There are many in the United States, members of Congress, who have raised concerns that this is a ransom, that this is appeasement of Iran, that it will only encourage Iran to take Americans in other circumstances and falsely accuse them. What's your response to that?
Just from the beginning, we have been intending to release the Iranian frozen assets, which have been unjustly frozen by the United States, to freedom. We believe that this American action was very unjust just from the beginning. It has imposed further pressure on the Iranian people.
You believe this money was wrongfully taken from Iran, but what is your expectation of its use? We're told that it's for humanitarian purposes, food and medicine. Do you believe you have the right to use that money in any way that you see fit?
This money belongs to the Islamic Republic of Iran, and naturally we will decide, the Islamic Republic of Iran will decide to spend it wherever we need it.
So if I hear you clearly, that it will be used for more than humanitarian purposes in your view?
Humanitarian means whatever the Iranian people needs. So this money will be budgeted for those needs. And the needs of the Iranian people will be decided and determined by the Iranian government.
Meantime, Iran has faced internal troubles, namely a violent crackdown on women's rights protesters who are demanding an end to a law that requires women here to wear head coverings. The protest movement led by women here. We saw many openly defying the law. Are you at all afraid to walk down the streets without a scarf?
No, I don't afraid because I'm really tired about this.
I asked the president about that deadly government crackdown on those protesters. We are sitting here, Mr. President, at nearly the 1-year anniversary of the death of Mahsa Amini, a young woman who was arrested by the morality police for allegedly improperly wearing her head covering. The response, the government response to the protesters was swift, and it was brutal in the eyes of many. Humanitarian groups say at least 500 people were killed, perhaps many young people. Thousands, tens of thousands were arrested, that there were people executed or put on death row, journalists who were rounded up. What message did that send to the rest of the world, how Iran handled those protests?
ببینید یک حادثه‌ای بود اتفاق افتاد.
It was an incident. The same incidents happen every day in the US and in the European cities. The Islamic Republic of Iran responded swiftly and followed the issue. But I would like to mention the fact that the Western countries and some European countries and the US were making use of this incident as a project against the Islamic Republic of Iran. It was a hybrid war and a cognitive war. It was a political war. It was an economic war, a media war, and a psychological war against the Islamic Republic of Iran.
If I understand what you're saying, you're blaming what happened on the streets after Mahsa Amini's death on Western influences and American efforts to undermine this country. But those were Iranian security forces in the street firing pellets at unarmed people or live weapons at crowds that included young people. Do you not see anything in the last year in which you have to take responsibility for?
ببینید اون کسانی که تحریک
those who provoked the people and made use of this opportunity, that was the US and European countries. Those who were trying to blaze banks or to open fire on the people or to kill people, certainly our security force on the street cannot allow terror to happen. We cannot allow anyone to destroy the public places. We cannot endanger the safety of our people.
If on Saturday, the anniversary of Mahsa Amini's death, if there are protests to commemorate that date, would the security forces crack down in the same way?
شما مگر میدونید که قرار اعتراضی بشه؟
So do you know that are there going to be any protests in the country?
I don't know. There are reports the government has taken actions to quiet activists ahead of that date. Can you comment on that?
نه شما یقین داشته باشید جمهوری
You should be assured that the Islamic Republic of Iran has always been ready to listen to words of protesters on any issue. We are all ears. And those who intend to abuse Madam Amini's name under this pretext to be an agent of foreigners to create this instability in the country, we know what will happen to them, and they know that endangering the security of people and security of society will create a big cost.
In that interview, President Raisi telling me the prisoner swap should be finalized in, quote, due time. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.